Well, I haven't spoken to you for a week. Tell me, what have you learned or realized or, become aware of?
Well, I'm sorry to say that there's witch hunts going on in Libya right now, in Tripoli and other places. They're hunting people down and killing them in their homes.
I mean, you're just making me think of Iraq. In Iraq, they killed off all these professors, thousands of them.
Yeah. Yes. Well, speaking of professors, I know one professor they killed with her family. They killed all the children as well, except for one infant who was a few months old. But they killed the children who were with her in the home. She was a very good person. She was against violence. She wanted everything peacefully resolved. She was very fair. Her and I used to discuss how the government should Libyan people bad news as well, more bad news, because they tried to tweak the news a little too, right, for morale. And I said that, it in the long run, and in the long run, it's better to always be very upfront with the people, even if there is a war. And she was of the same opinion. Very good woman, an academic, and she didn't deserve to be killed. Other people have been killed. Their bodies haven't been found. Their family knows they're dead, but the bodies haven't been found.
They're cheap and dirty. They've probably had these professors you talked about on computer lists outside of Libya. These people were targeted and lined up for it, and you say she was for peace, but they've got a whole history of bombing people.
Anybody knows or knows.
But they've got a whole history of assassinating people that are for peace.
No, listen, I know that. Luther King, for starters, many in Central America, many leaders of the Catholic Church were killed. And in fact, the U.S. State Department gave a very bad answer to one of the heads of the Catholic Church. Obviously, Iraq, they killed all the professionals and academics. In Iraq, there was a genocide against professors in Iraq.
Absolutely, thousands killed, targeted.
Killings of professionals and professors.
So, unfortunately, Gaddafi just made a speech, on RITV. I guess you've been watching RITV. I mean, it's all in Arabic, but that's where you hear what Musa Ibrahim and Gaddafi have to say. They're exclusively being broadcast on RITV, which is based in Syria. And there's a lot of solidarity now between Syria and Gaddafi. But
these things should have existed sooner. It should have existed sooner. This solidarity between Libya and Syria, the people, people to people.
Yeah. Well, it's even beyond.
I'm sorry to say, we're speaking of this subject that they're doing the same thing to Syria.
Oh, for sure,
and they're marginalizing the authentic opposition in Syria for a pseudo foreign opposition that they control. There's a transitional council for Syria. None of them have lived in Syria. They all lived outside. Okay?
Sounds like
they'll recognize.
That's what I've been told about the Afghan government as well.
Erdogan, for example, refuses to categorically announce whether, if he's in charge of Syria, would he recognize the state of Israel or not. He refuses to answer this. Where's the transparency? I'm not making this an issue about recognizing Israel or not, but this shows that this is a politicking person who's not transparent. Okay, and the BBC Arabic and other Al Jazeera have given this guy a major platform. And if you look at this guy's resume and CV of what associations and organizations he's involved with, you're going to see this is another one of Washington's men in an Arab country they want to take over.
It's interesting. There's a whole pattern developing in every country, the same type of story unfolding. You know that Bernard Levi is due to be in Algeria on Thursday. There are news reports to say...
Yes. Well, his friend is in the Transitional Council for Algeria, I believe, or involved with it.
In
we
Paris,
spoke about Algeria, and I can tell you that the Human Rights League tied to Algeria the mother of that network, the hub for that network, is in France, and one of the members of that organization is friends with Bernard Henry Levy.
Oh, for sure.
So
I'm not surprised at all. He was actually born in Algeria, so maybe they can't refuse him entry. I have no idea. But Gaddafi just said today that NATO can't keep bombing forever, and as soon as they stop bombing, then the Libyan army will win. But I'm afraid they can bomb forever. They've been bombing Afghanistan for 10 years.
Out of bombs. They're running out of bombs. And there has been a strong counteroffensive for the last few days.
Yeah, big time. But still, they're being bombed. I mean, you can't fight the bombs from the sky.
Yeah, but, the Lebanese were bombed. Okay, Omar Mokhtar was bombed. Ottoman Libya was bombed. Let me tell you about Ottoman Libya. The Italians bombed Ottoman Libya. Okay. And that was when strategic bomb became a new strategy for war. The Italians used it against Ottoman Libya, and the Ottomans surrendered. But I don't think it was strictly on the bombings, because you can't win a war, and every military analyst knows that, by just bombing. You need boots on the ground. That's where the rebels are. That's where NATO special forces are.
So the Americans sent 4 U.S. troops last week, and now they're sending another 12.
Where did you learn about that 4 special?
Oh, that was majorly publicized. They were given the brief to open the American embassy. That's why 4 U.S. soldiers were being sent there.
Okay,
but now
there was 4 who were captured as well, months ago.
Really?
That's why I thought you were mentioning that, and they might have been.
No.
4 were captured, and they were trying to negotiate for that.
They've caught 17 foreigners. You know that. They were.
They caught a lot of people. They caught Qatari troops. They caught Italians.
Yeah.
But the Libyans wanted to use all this as negotiating pieces, so they never came forward with all the evidence they had. There was people on the inside always ruining things, obstructing things on the inside. But the Libyans had an incredible amount of evidence, and they had a lot of cards they could have played at the international level, the diplomatic level.
Well, it feels like the Arab League betrayed Libya more than anyone.
No. Listen, the Arab League, we should not be surprised about that. They've betrayed everyone. It's become a gourmet dinner for NATO or the United States or Britain. They did this to Palestinians. They betrayed the Palestinians, first of all. Sudan, they betrayed Lebanon when it was being bombed. In Lebanon, they called it the Arab conspiracy against Lebanon. They betrayed Ba'athist Iraq when President Saddam Hussein was the head of state. They'll betray each other. Have no faith in that league. It's a hollow league, and the leaders there have nothing in common but the halls. They'll all backstab each other. And as many call them, there's a reason why they're called half men. It's an Arab expression which is very insulting. But there's a reason why they call each other half men. Those aren't my words, but there's a good reason why they call each other half men. And their intelligence agencies work against each other, and they also work to please each other. They work to please each other.